Kalpitarubhascha for everyone. So, Naino, thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Today I'm also listening to the class.
What?
Today I'm listening to the class.
You listen to the class. What happened to the Pandavas? So we will discuss about that. Okay? Just give me 2 minutes. Okay. Where were we last time?
1.15.39 we have to start.
15.39. So Yudhishthir Maharaj handed over or enthroned his grandson in the whole responsibility has been given now to his grandson. He's properly trained and is qualified. Now, like chanting Mangalachal responsibility, we can give it to Nainu Manjari. Nainu will chant the whole Mangalachal whenever she's fresh and she's not sleepy. At the time, she can chant the whole Mangalachal. So it is good actually. We should give the responsibility to our youngsters. Should train them, should give the responsibility. That is how what we learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam speaks about it. Even in the temples also, when there is an authority, what he should do slowly, he should train his juniors and slowly give the responsibility. One cannot just hold the post for a long time. Mathurayam tatha vajram shurasena patim tatah rajapatyam yeshtim agnina pibadishwarah. Mathurayam tatha vajram shram. Mathurayam, at Mathura, Vajra, Shurasena Patim Tataha, king of the Surasena, Prajapatya, sacrifice, Nirupya, having performed, Ishtim, goal, Agni, fire, Apibad, placed in himself, Ishvara, capable. Then he posted Vajra, the son of Anirudh, grandson of Lord Krishna, at Mathura, as the king of Surasena. Afterwards, Maharaj Yudhishthir performed a Prajapatya sacrifice and placed in himself the fire for quitting household life. So in this way, Yudhishthir Maharaj handed over even the kingdom of Surasen, that is Mathura, he gave it to Vajra. So Maharaj Parikshit, the Hastinapur throne was given. Vajra was given he became the king of Mathura. In this way, the Varnashrama system is followed very nicely. Varnashrama systems starts with Brahmacharya Vrata. Brahmacharyata, where the training is given very nicely, then he takes up to householder life, then Vanaprastha, and then Sannyas. So one has to retire from the active life. He cannot be always active. Even the government doesn't want a person to be always active. This all happens only in the private company. You see, strictly in central government or the government, they don't allow after 58. Nowadays, in outside companies, because they don't find any youngsters properly, then they keep up to 75, 78. Doesn't work. So that is why it is said here, one has to give up his active life and start cultivating Vanaprastha. Slowly it happens. Vanaprastha. Then take up to sannyas. What is the meaning of sannyas? Sapanyas, in the search of absolute truth. Just concentrate in bhakti. That is known as sannyas. And that is how one can attain the perfection of life. Varnashrama acharataha purushena parapuman Vishnu aradite pantan nanipati. The two verses which speaks in Bhagavatam, many verses are there. These are the most prominent verses, which has been used in quotation with Ramananda Rai's conversation by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. वर्णाश्रम आचरणतः पुरुषेण परपुमान् विष्णु आराध्यते तन्ता नान्यत्तत्तोषकार्यम्. Vishnu Aradhya. What is the purpose of all the four Varnashrama? Vishnu Aradhya. There's another verse which speaks in the first canto, second chapter. Atha Kumbir Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagasha. Swanishtita Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Why a person is performing all this activity? Haritoshanam, for the satisfaction of Krishna. Okay. Simla Mataji, can you read?
Hare Krishna. मथुरायां तथा व्रजं शूरसेन पतिं ततः प्राजापत्यां निरूप्येष्टिं मग्नीं पिबतीश्वरः. Translation: Then he posted Vajra, the son of Aniruddha, grandson of Lord Krishna, at Mathura as the king of Shurasena. Afterwards, Maharaj Yudhishthir performed a Prajapati sacrifice and placed in himself the fire for quitting household life. Purport: Maharaj Yudhishthir, after placing Maharaj Parikshit on the imperial throne of Hastinapur and after posting Vajra, the great grandson of Lord Krishna, as the king of Mathura, accepted the renounced order of life. The system of 4 orders of life and 4 castes in terms of quality and work, known as Varnashram Dharma, is the beginning of real human life. And Maharaj Yudhishthir, as the protector of this system of human activities, timely retired from active life as a sannyasi, handing over the charge of the administration to a trained prince, Maharaj Parikshit. The scientific system of Varnashram Dharma divides the human life into 4 divisions of occupation and 4 orders of life. The 4 orders of life as Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha and Sannyasi are to be followed by all, irrespective of the occupational division. Modern politicians do not wish to retire from active life, even if they are old enough. But Yudhishthir Maharaj, as an ideal king, voluntarily retired from active administrative life to prepare himself for the next life. Everyone's life must be so arranged that the last stage of life, say at least the last 15 to 20 years prior to death, can be absolutely devoted to the devotional service of the Lord to attain the highest perfection of life. It is really foolishness to engage oneself all the days of one's life in material enjoyment and fruitive activities, because as long as the mind remains absorbed in fruitive work for material enjoyment, there is no chance of getting out from conditioned life or material bondage. No one should follow the suicidal policy of neglecting one's supreme task of attaining the highest perfection of life, namely going back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
To Godhead is the goal. Going back home, back to Godhead is the goal. For that, what type of activities have to be done? This one, given 42nd verse in chapter to Canto. No, not 42nd. We are in 40th verse, right? 40th verse. विसृज्य तत्र तत्सर्वं विपुलवलयादिकं निर्ममो निरहङ्कार सञ्छिन्नाशेषवन्दनः. Visrujya, relinquishing, tatra, all those, tat sarvam, that everything, dukula valayadikam, dukula belt, valayadikam and bangles, nirmamaha, uninterested, nirahankaraha, unattached, sanchinna, perfectly cut off, asheshabandanaha, unlimited attachment. So Maharaj Yudhishthira at once relinquished all his garments, belt, and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Your dress also should show now whether you are retired or not. Nowadays, if you see the old people, they dress more. Once I was called for senior citizens meet. They told me to give class. And from behind, I saw all youngsters are there. The ladies in their special outfits. And the gents, the special outfit. I came in front, then I saw they are old only. See, you cannot hide your old age. And now, when I went now to even Nathdwar also, the ladies, old ladies, 75, 80, they're dressing so much. Gents are suffering so much. They're blackening their hair. Why they do all these things? It's not necessary. So that is why it is given here. What should we should learn? Even Maharaj Yudhishthira, when he retired, what he did, he first gave up all his ornaments, which is actually the dress of a king. You have to first from the outside also you have to retire. Okay, from inside you want to retire everything, from outside also. You cannot dress like a young man. What we are at 20 years, we cannot do the same dressing at the age of 60, 70. Doesn't suit us. Doesn't suit. The age of 70 and all, if you wear jeans and all, go, you will not get that respect. In fact, if you have gray hairs, people respect you. If you try to compete with the youngsters, see, we cannot come back to 20 years or 25 or 30 years. Your dress gains respect. First understand, our dress gains respect. Our graying hairs is also very good. That also gains respect. Maybe blacken the hair, put some artificial teeth. Okay, that artificial teeth for eating is okay. But to look young, that doesn't work. If somebody wants to eat and is not having the food properly, he can do all those things. Purpose should be for something else. So all these things is given. He was completely disinterested, unattached. It's again the very big meaning. You cannot be interested in, you retire from something and you're interested in something else. Doesn't work. Our interest should be only in serving Krishna. That is known as real retirement, real Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha. Vana means what? Going to forest. What does the forest say? Forest life say? Secluded life. That means we should be away from the society. And the real thing or the real way Srila Prabhupada has given us is be engaged more in temple. That is real Vanaprastha. The purpose is also solved. Service to Krishna is also solved. Okay. Krishna Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Dandat Pranamataji. Visrujya tatra tatsarva dukula valayadikam nirmamo nirahankaraha satchinna sesha bandhanaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira at once relinquished all his garments, belt and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Purport. To become purified of material contamination is the necessary qualification for becoming one of the associates of the Lord. No one can become an associate of the Lord or can go back to Godhead without such purification. Maharaja Yudhishthira, before to become spiritually pure, at once gave up his royal opulence, relinquishing his royal dress and garments. The kasya or saffron loin cloth of a sannyasi indicates freedom from all attractive material garments, and thus he changed his dress accordingly. He became disinterested in his kingdom and family, and this becomes free from all material contamination or material designation. People are generally attached to various kinds of designations, the designation of family, society, country, occupation, wealth, position, and many others. As long as one is attached to such designations, he is considered materially impure. The so-called leader of men in the modern age are attached by national consciousness, but they do not know that such false consciousness is also another designation of the materially conditioned soul. One has to relinquish such a designation before one can become eligible to go back to Godhead. Foolish people adore such men who die in national consciousness. But here is an example of Maharaja Yudhishthira, a royal king who prepared himself to leave this world without such material consciousness. and yet he is remembered even today because he was a great pious king, almost on the same level with the personality of Godhead Sri Rama. And because people of the world were dominated such pious kings, they were happy all respects, and it was quite possible for such a great emperor to rule the world. Hare Krishna.
वाचं जुहाव मनसि तत्प्राण इतरे च तम् मृत्यावपानं सोत्सर्गं तं पञ्चत्वे यजोहवीत यजोहवीत वाचं जुहवा मनसि. Speech is relinquished manasi into the mind. Tat itarecha tat prana, mind into breathing. Itarecha, other senses also. Tam into that, mrityu into death. Apanam, breathing. Utsargam, with all the irrigation. Tam, that panchatve into the body made of 5 elements. He certainly ajohavit, amalgamated it. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into the mind. That means all the activities now shut. Everything is put in the mind into the life into breathing, total existence into the embodiment of elements, and the body into death. Then as pure soul, he became freed from the material conception of. That is how all the speech, all the activities are stopped. That is how all the sense organs are first put in the mind. Because it is the mind which engages the sense organ. So mind has to be controlled. All the activities are done at the level of mind. You see, you feel hungry first at the level of mind. Then you use the instrument called as mouth. You want to speak. That is why it is said that think before you speak. If you use the instrument without the help of the mind, it will lead to the problem. First, mind should think, then the speech should come out. It should not come so fast. We should hold the speech. The moment it comes fast, yes, it is going to create disturbances. For us also, for others also. So first is mind, then all the sense organs are put in the mind. Then the mind enters the pranavayu. And then the pranavayu relinquishes. This whole existence is into the 5 elements. That means that now the 5 elements are also, one comes out of these 5 elements also. This pranavayu comes out of the 5 elements. That is how the person meets the examination called death. And the soul is completely pure. Because the pranavayu, vayu ranjam amritamatedam bhasmantam shat. The vayu enters the mukhya vayu. Pranavayu, it is the pranavayu which makes us active. And when all these things are completely removed, one by one, it focuses on God. The pure self now is freed from the material entanglement. I remember my father quitting the body. At the time, my sister asked my father. My father told, because all organs had gone. And my sister did not tell us, but I was also knowing that now my father will go. So then one day before she asked, whom will you take along with you? She said, I don't want anyone. I'll go alone. I'll go with Lord. I'm not going to take anyone with you. You don't want Akka, you don't want me. No, I don't want anyone. That is how silently he just took bath and peacefully sat and lived. The great souls, they know that the time has come. And what they do is, they absorb the speech, other activities within the mind. Then the mind, they focus on the pranavayu. Slowly the pranavayu also merges in the 5 elements, and in this way, it actually pranavayu also goes out. What goes along with the soul is the pranavayu, the subtle body, and the mind is completely focused on Lord. It's very easy to quit the body. Or the person screams, shouts, it's not peaceful. So we saw our father very peacefully left. Actually, I saw him in the video. I was going to the class and I saw in the video, he's peacefully lying. He was awake at the time. was not, he was alive. And just 2 minutes after, it means peaceful. It is like you concentrate, you leave the body. Okay. So, Adisati ki Mataji, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, it looks like I've got a question here. Is that sounds like a Hatha Yoga, huh? These activities? Is this
Hatha Yoga means the yoga system in which the person focuses on his breathing techniques. And that is the ultimate samadhi, where a person can bring the Vayu to the Randhra. And from the Randhra it goes. But it requires, again, it is not just one lifetime. It takes a lot of practice. The
Yes.
person can do that, provided samadhi is accompanied by bhakti. He cannot remove from the Randhra also if there is no bhakti. Only Hatha Yoga system will not work. Dharana, Dhyana, that Dhyana should be Krishna. That is the time. Hatha Yoga system, you have 8 processes, isn't it? When Dharana comes, you have to take and you have to focus. You have to take what? Take devotion service. That is how the yogis attain perfection when they come in contact with Bhakta. So Bhaktas, what they do? They will chant the holy name. They'll make the person calm. One Sunday, next Sunday, my father goes. And one Sunday, we brought him from the hospital. He was very disturbed actually. Disturbed means not like he was talking all his previous things. Everything he was remembering. Perfect. He was such a Sundar Kand, this and that, everything he was telling. At the same time, he was telling right from his childhood everything. I was thinking, what is this? At the age of 90, he's remembering so perfectly. He's remembering my marks, he is remembering everything. That means it's actually, when the lamp is going to extinguish, you see the lamp burns more. Have you seen that? The lamp burns. So that is how I was seeing my father talking so many things. So he continuously spoke for 2 days. 2 days. I told what happened to father. He never used to speak. He was such a quiet person. He never used to talk anything because he met with an accident at the age of 58. His eyes has gone, very lips is see. So he used to be always chanting the holy name. But last 1 week before, he spoke everything and everything perfect. Nothing is here and there. Everything so perfect. What he did in his office, everything. I know this in the subconscious mind. So many talks that was there, which he could not speak to anyone. Because none of us were available more with him. And even if he go also, he used to not waste our time. He used to know that we are into all these things. So he used to not waste the time. He used to talk only so much less. So that means so many things are in the subconscious. It all came out. And after that, there was a big kirtan in the house where he brought it. And he was dancing in the kirtan. Dancing means his hands are moving in the kirtan. And he is rejoicing in the kirtan. After that, he was quiet. And is completely absorbed in the Lord. So it is actually bhakti which makes a person settle down, gives internal strength. Till you are not having the association and the internal strength, you may do bhakti alone, but when the association is there, naturally that rejoicement is all are chanting. Father is also singing. He wanted to dance, but what to look at it was there, he cannot do that. So it is bhakti which gives strength. Hatha yogis can become successful only when they have association. And association is also durlabha. You cannot say that just we can bring the devotees and no, it is durlabha. Even if the devotees come, your consciousness should be with the devotees. And if your consciousness is not with the devotees are singing and you're not interested, what is the use? Okay, some Harinam will go. But if your consciousness fully is there, then yes, the person takes full advantage. Okay, read.
Thank you, Mataji. Vachang juhava manasi tat prana itare tam mitya vapanang sutsargang tat panchatve yajahabit. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into the mind, then the mind into life, life into breathing, his total existence into the embodiment of the 5 elements, and his body into death. Then, as pure self, he became free from the material conception of life. Purport: Maharaja Yudhishthira, like his brother Arjuna, began to concentrate and gradually became freed from all material bondage. First, he concentrated all the actions of the senses and amalgamated them into the mind. Or, in other words, he turned his mind toward the transcendental service of the Lord. He prayed that since all material activities are performed by the mind in terms of actions and reactions of the material senses, and since he was going back to Godhead, the mind would wind up its material activities and he turned towards the transcendental service to the Lord. There was no longer a need for material activities. Actually, the activities of the mind cannot be stopped, for they are the reflection of the eternal soul. But the quality of the activities can be changed from matter to the transcendental service of the Lord. The material color of the mind is changed when one washed it from contaminations of life breathing and thereby frees it from the contamination of repeated births and deaths and situates it in pure spiritual life. All is manifested by the temporary embodiment of the material body, which is a production of the mind at the time of death. And if the mind is purified by practice of transcendental loving service of the Lord and is constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no more chance of the mind's producing another material body after death. It will be freed from absorption in material contamination. The pure soul will be able to return home back to Godhead. It sounds so difficult.
We don't know how we are going to be the God. But one thing is there, Krishna has told, if you remember Krishna whole lifetime, यदि वातारि दोषेण मत्पक्तो मां रचस्मरे अहं स्मरामि मत् ayami Brahma. I will remember the goodness. So what Srila Prabhupada has told us that we should follow, chanting the holy names, sincerely, seriously, serving Krishna. We will do that much. The rest we'll leave it to him. He wants us, he doesn't want us, throw us. Wherever he wants, let him place. Wants to hug us, doesn't want, throw us. But wherever we go, what we can do, we can chant the holy name. Because Neha Vikramanashasti. You can do Krishna, even if we have done a small thing. We don't know we are doing, but in that, if Krishna counts this as a small thing, because how much perfection we are doing, only Krishna knows. So even if a small thing is done, Krishna doesn't forget. So like naturally in the next life, we will get devotion wherever. Yeah. So we don't have to think so much, but we have to think, yes, my day is going in devotion or not. Am I using my day very nicely or not? Am I engaging myself properly or not? Yesterday I was doing Udupi Yatra booking. 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, completely concentrated. How many people are going to come? How many this money? But because I had only 15,000 something with me. And I have to book the ticket for 1,05,000. Just imagine. And we decided the yatra just one day night. And then collecting the people, collecting the money. I was just thinking, this is the chanting actually. This is also for Krishna. 4 hours I was not looking here and there. Completely whom to call. This person will come in yatra. Okay, this person will come. Then taking the advance. Well, with 15,000, what are you going to book the ticket? It costed 1,05,000. It was like, it was a big challenge, but somehow we could do it. It started with a scratch, and we in exactly 42 verses. Now 42 students came for the yatra. So naturally, it is good, na? We would have put in Janmashtami, we would have got more people. But we just remembered in the last time we did not do December yatra. And people are asking, Mataji, December yatra, you have not planned. So it happens. Any work for Krishna, any work, do it with concentration. That is Krishna consciousness. Is most important. Ritve hutva cha panchatvam tacchaikatve juhonmunihi sarvamatmanya juhave brahmanyatmanam avyaye. Ritve, into the three qualities, Utva, having offered, Cha also, Panchatvam, 5 elements, that, Cha also, Ekatve, in one science, Ajuho, amalgamated, Munihi, the thoughtful, Sarvam, the sum total, Atmani, in the soul, Ajuhave, fixed, Brahmani, into the spirit, Atmanam, the soul, Avyave, away unto the inexhaustible. Thus, annihilating the gross body of 5 elements into the 3 qualitative modes of material nature, he merged them in one nescience and then absorbed that nescience in the self, Brahman, which is inexhaustible in all circumstances. That means everything is merging. Now it's very difficult to understand, isn't it? Gross body going in the 3 modes of material nature. Yes. How did we attain the body? Let us go flashback. How did we attain the body? Because of the 3 modes of material nature. It is the 3 modes of material nature which decides our body. What type of body we have to get. If ignorance is predominant, very much predominant, then tree body. We have studied in 2nd chapter Bhagavad Gita. Dhumena vrate varnit. If the passion is more, animal's body. If somewhere little goodness is remaining, then understand some human bodies. So then, anyhow, 3 modes of material nature decides the body. So naturally, the body merges in the 3 modes of material nature. And what is the 3 modes of material nature and the body combination is pradhana. He merged them in one nescience. Nescience is what? The darkest region. That is pradhana. So go again flashback. How did the pradhana activate? How it became active? It became active because of Karanadaksha Vishnu glancing in the pradhana. And that is how Jiva Shakti, Kala Shakti, the Jiva takes, is merged in it or is put in it. You can see Jiva Shakti, Kala Shakti enters. And then accordingly, there are so many Brahmandas created. And the whole thing is given to Brahma for secondary creation. So now Brahma gets Pradhana. What is the Pradhana? Pradhana is 24 elements in which 3 modes of material nature is one of the elements. That is Pradhana. That is 3 modes of material nature. With 23 other elements. 3 subtle, Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, 20 gross. You have studied that, no? 20 gross. 5 gross elements, 5 sense objects, 5 working elements, 5 knowledge gaining senses. All this became 20. Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, 23. One is Pradhan. So now what happens? This 5 modes, 5 elements, and the mind is now absorbing the 5, all the senses. Yes? Knowledge gaining senses, working senses, everything is absorbed in the mind, at the level of mind. Now, no more the senses are working. Now, what is remaining is the body, gross body, which is made up of 5 elements. Now, even the sense objects has nothing to do with the 5 elements because everything is shut now. The sense organs have shut their work. So when they have shut their work, sense objects has no value now. Eyes is closed, ears have stopped hearing, So what it has to do with hearing or seeing or touching or feeling, whatever, or tasting, whatever it is. The sense objects is now gone. You're understanding? You just see the chart first. The chart is what? The knowledge gaining senses, the working senses, all have stopped. The mind has absorbed, taken them. Now mind knows these are all going to be waste now. I cannot use them. So mind has absorbed them. Now what is remaining? These 5 elements are remaining. Now where will that 5 elements enter? That 5 elements anyhow has to enter in the pradhan. Because man, buddhi, ahankara is there with the soul. You cannot merge that. That is the body which is entangling the soul. So this enters in the matter. Matter enters into matter. Which matter now that is? There is 3 modes of material nature. It has entered there. And then all enter the nisans. That means that again the darkest region. Because the soul has now come out with what? Man buddhi. Again the nisans means what? Ajnanata. So again we have to take the body from the nisans only. Matter is dull. Matter has no consciousness. That's when science is before. Matter is dull. So that is how enters into Brahman. Which Brahman? Jada Brahman. This is Jada Brahman. Matter enters into matter. Now Jiva Brahman, what the Jiva Brahman does? Jiva Brahman is anyhow inexhaustible in all circumstances. What is exhaustible is Jada Brahman. Okay? When a Brahman word is quoted, that is for the self. The self does not die. In all circumstances, self does not die. Avinashi tu tatvi. Yena sarvam idam tatam. The soul is pervading all over the body. But when body has to quit, then the soul comes out.
But
Or the
Mataji,
consciousness of the
if
soul comes
Brahman
out.
is to be taken as Jad Brahman, immediately he said, which is inexhaustible in all circumstances.
This is self now. This is soul now. That is inexhaustible. Jada Brahman is exhaustible. You can use that Brahman even for the previous, annulating the gross body of the 5 elements. That is also Jada Brahman only. But here what Brahman is spoken is Jiva Brahman. So inexhaustible is given, na word. Does not die. Okay.
This
Vasundhani Prabhu,
inexhaustible word is used for Jiva Brahman.
inexhaustible means what? Avyaye. Will not die at any circumstances. All this will happen to the body. Anyhow, one day we have also to give up this exam. We have to give this examination. But we don't have to think so much. When you think so much, you cannot even breathe now. But nobody likes to die. No one wants to die. It's truth. It's truth that no one wants to die. And no one can see his near and dear ones dying also. But this has to be passed by everyone. At that time, Krishna gives a special strength. 1 month before my father left the body, I don't know, I was having intuitions in the yatra. My father will go, my father will. At that time, I was thinking, I love my father so much. Can I live without him? I used to think like, but everything happens. Krishna makes all the arrangement. And we may have special attachments to everyone. That is another thing. But that time, special strength Krishna gives. Mata Smriti, Jnanam, Apohanam, everything Krishna gives. And forgetfulness and all these things, everything, knowledge, everything Krishna gives. So certain things you should leave it to Lord. Let Lord decide. He has brought us. He knows how to take us back. He knows how to make us adjust to different circumstances. Okay. Vasundhani Prabhu, please read. You are there, Prabhu? Yeah.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Tritve hutva cha panchatvam tat chaikatye ajuhum muni sarvam atmane ajuhavid brahmani atmanam avyaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. thus annihilating the gross body of 5 elements into the 3 qualitative modes of material nature. He merged them in one nescience and then absorbed that nescience in the self, Brahman, which is inexhaustible in all circumstances. Purport. All that is manifested in the material world is the product of Mahatattva Avyakta, and things that are visible in our material vision are nothing but combination of permutations of such variegated material products. But the living entity is different from such material products. It is due to the living entity's forgetfulness of his eternal nature as eternal servitor of the Lord and his false conception of being a so-called Lord of the material nature that he is obliged to enter into the existence of false sense enjoyment. Thus, a concomitant generation of material energy is the principal cause of the mind's being materially affected. Thus, the gross body of 5 elements is produced. Maharaja Yudhishthir reversed the action and merged the 5 elements of the body in the 3 modes of material nature. The qualitative distinction of the body as being good, bad, or mediocre is extinguished. And again, the qualitative manifestations become merged in the material energy, which is produced from a false sense of pure living being. When one is thus inclined to become an associate of Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, in one of the innumerable planets of spiritual sky, especially in Golok Vrindavan, one has to think always that he is different from the material energy. He has nothing to do with it. And he has to realize himself as pure spirit, Brahman, qualitatively equal with the Supreme Brahman, Parameshwara. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after distributing his kingdom to Parikshit and Vajra, did not think himself emperor of the world or head of the Kuru dynasty. This sense of freedom from material relations as well as freedom from material engagement of the gross and subtle encirclement makes one free to act as a servitor of the Lord, even though one is in the material world. This stage is called the Jivan Mukta stage, or the liberated state. Even in the material world, that is process of ending material existence, one must not only think that he is Brahman, but must act like Brahman. One who only thinks himself Brahman is an impersonalist, and one who acts like Brahman is a pure devotee. Hare Krishna Mataji, thanks for the service.
There's a verse in Nectar of Devotion. Iha yasya harirtasya karmana manasa gira nikla shakti avasthasu jivan mukta suchyate. Jivan mukta word comes, Rupa Goswami says, Iha yasya harirtasya. In this lifetime itself become Haridas. Iha yasya harirtasya karmana manasa gira. If your activities become Haridas, your mind become Haridas, with your body become Haridas. Karmana manasa gira. Nikhila shakti avasthasu. At all circumstances. Jivan Mukta Uchyate. The person is Jivan Mukta. He is a liberated person. He is not bound to anything. No activity is binding. He is not indebted to anyone. He may do, he may not. He is not obligatory for him to do. What's the meaning of being independent? Being dependent on Krishna. One who is dependent on Krishna, he has no obligation. There is a verse which says, Devarshi Bhutapanam Pratinam Naking Karunayam Muricharam. He is not interrupted to anyone. Neither the forefathers, nor the Devatas, nor the Rishis, nor the men in general. He is not bound. He may do, he may not. He may do to set an example. He may do for a higher cause. So one is not obligated because he is taking the biggest responsibility. Biggest responsibility is serving Krishna. If that responsibility is taken, other all things come in that. No one gets angry for anything. if you are focusing on the service of Lord, you don't have the obligation of anything. Like there's somebody, some function is there, they have called you, but you have some higher task. You have a preaching activity that time. What do you focus on? Your family activities or preaching activities? Actually, preaching activities. In that, even if you want to do something, even if you think that your relations will be very angry, no one gets angry. In fact, all are happy. All are happy if you do Krishna activity. So last verse will take.
Mataji, what does this mean? This one must not only think that he is Brahman, but he must act like Brahman. Thinking ourselves as Brahman and acting as Brahman. How do we do that?
Just
What
thinking
does it
that
mean?
I'm divine, but doing all nonsensical activities doesn't work. We should act also divine, huh? That means engage ourselves in the divine activities. Only thinking that I am divine, but doing all material activities doesn't work. If I am divine, yes, I am divine.
But the divine powers are not there with us, then how do we act as divine?
All powers are.
Okay.
First thing Prabhupada says, say that I am divine. Engage in divinity, divine activity. Simple, even if they say Hare Krishna to everyone, that
Bhakti,
itself is enough.
that means indirectly bhakti, no? That is what we can do. Divine activities are bhakti for us. Unless until we have divine powers, then we can use the divine powers and act like divine.
Without divine
That is a
powers, that is
different
why we
thing.
are doing bhakti.
Okay.
We have realized our divine powers, or Srila Prabhupada has made us realize the divine powers, that is why we are in bhakti. It's not so easy to be in bhakti. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhakyavanji. Guru Krishna Prasad Bhai Bhakti Lata Vijay. Out of so many, you are selected. You want to study Bhakti Vaibhav also, Krishna's Anugraha is there.
Yeah.
Or you want
Okay.
to study Bhagavatam, Krishna's Anugraha. Without Anugraha, we cannot even open the book. Or to open the book, we cannot even have the book in the house. Krishna coming in the house of Bhagavatam, that
Thank
itself
you.
is divine. Okay. Somebody asked me, Mataji, what is the meaning of fallen soul? Why people say, I'm a fallen soul, I'm a fallen soul. Is soul fallen? I said, no. Then what we should really say? Today we should say, I have fallen consciousness. Soul is never fallen. Soul is always divine. The real word used is, I am a fallen conscious person. My consciousness is fallen.
It means this consciousness gets degraded. That is what we call fallen soul. It is not soul, as you said, soul will
Actually,
never fall.
when the person says, I'm a fallen soul, he is right in one sense, because soul is always pure. What is pervading in this world is a consciousness of the soul. So you can say fallen qua soul, you can say. What is this qua soul? Better is for, they use the term fallen soul. The consciousness is fallen. My consciousness is fallen. That's the right word. Okay. Chidavasa niraharo Madhavan mukta murdhaja Darshayannatmano rupam jadonmatta pishachavat Anavekshmano niraga Ashunvan bagiro yatha Chidavasa, accepting torn clothing, nirahara, gave all solid peace. Padavak stopped talking, Mukta murdhaja, untied his hair, Darshayan began to show Atmana of himself. Rupam, body features, Jada inert, Unmatta, mad, Pishachavat, just like an urchin, Anaveksham, Mana, without waiting for Niraga was situated, Ashunvan without Badhiraha, just like a deaf man, Ita as it. After that, Maharaj Yudhishthira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all foods, solid foods. Voluntarily became dumb, let his hair hang loose. All this combined to make him look like an urchin or madman with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. Okay. There's other please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Chiravasa Niraharo Padavan Mudhajahan Darshayam Atmanurupam Jadon Mata Pishachavat Anavekshamano Niragat
Anavekshamano nirgad. Anavekshamano nirgad.
Shamano Niragat
Ashunvan.
Ashunvan Badiro Yata. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After that, Maharaj Yudhishthira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb, and let his hair hang loose. All this combined to make him look like an arshin or madman who with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. Purport. Thus, being freed from all external affairs, he had nothing to do with imperial life or family prestige, and for all practical purposes, he posed himself exactly like an inert mad arhin and did not speak of material affairs. He had no dependence on his brothers, who had all along been helping him. This stage of complete independence from everything is also called the purified stage of fearlessness.
Last
Hare
line is so nice. The stage of complete independence from everything is called purified stage of fearlessness. And real fearlessness is independence with Krishna. Abhaya Charana. Till we are not taking the shelter of Krishna, Abhayata will never come. Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti Vedanta. That means where Vedas end, or the logics of the Vedas end, Bhakti begins. And that is at stage when a person is fearless. Srila Prabhupada's name has so much of meaning. Abhaya Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta. Only by Bhakti, one can take shelter of Krishna. When a person takes shelter of Krishna, automatically is fearless. When he is fearless, he is completely independent of all the material world. He is not bothered for anyone. He doesn't even think what is going to happen if I don't go, or he doesn't come, nothing. Complete dependence on Krishna. Okay?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Mataji, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Mataji, this all.
Your voice is very slow, Prabhu, very slow.
I don't know. Now, Mataji?
Yeah.
Hello, is it audible, Mataji?
Hmm.
Mataji, all this, what we study, what we learn in spirituality, that we have to detach ourselves. Then it becomes, that is the ultimate purpose. Now, I don't know about others, but, detaching from material thing is becoming possible. But detaching from children and grandchildren, it's becoming
You have a
difficult.
higher goal. You have a higher goal.
Higher
Then
goal
you
is
should
clear,
first-
Mataji. It is there. We heard
You have
about
taken
Maharaj
responsibility. You
Yudhishthir.
have taken responsibility. The responsibility should automatically, detachment slowly starts.
Means
When you take
how do we do that, Mataji?
do that, like you have taken the responsibility of preaching, you should be completely focused in preaching. Going to Australia and all should be kept aside. Now, ask Jumu Chaya, she's calling me, come to Nagpur, come to Nagpur. I'm not able to go because I have so much of preaching responsibilities here. take the responsibility seriously. If you give off for 3-4 months, what will happen to the people who have taken your shelter? You will say, I'll do online teaching. Doesn't work. Already all are aged people. They cannot even hear also. They cannot hear like this offline only what they hear on. And then offline classes had a different effect. Online has a different effect. Oh, this
Mataji,
this line has come from where? Asha, this is Rama Rao. Nice to
Mataji,
think.
Mataji always say your
Mm.
level and our level. If we can get even 0.1% of your level, I think it'll be great
Why
for
do
us.
you ask me question? Don't ask me the question. Ask the question, I'll give the answer.
नहीं उससे तो अच्छा
Naina,
हम लोग
Naina is going to tell something.
yeah,
Naina, are you going to
please.
tell something to us? So she chanted the whole Mangalacharan. Are you going to agree?
Sing Achyutastakam.
Yes, sing. Achyutastakam.
Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Harim Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Bhaje Achyutam Keshavam Satyabhamagadhavam Madhavam Sridharam Radhikam Indiram Chekasa Devaki Nandanam
Sound.
Shankine Chakri Rukmini Ragine Chakri Vallabi Vallabhaya Chitaya Vamshine Te Namah.
Give the sound properly. Sound is not coming. Jumur, keep the sound properly. Sing.
Kamsavidvamsine Vamshine Te Namah. Krishna Govinda Shripati Vajita Srimati Achyuta Draupadi Rakshaka Rakshasa Shobhita Sitaya Shobhito Dandakaranya Punyada Karana Lakshmane Nandito Vanarai Sevito Gasya Sampujito Raghava Patuma Dhenukariष्टपेद्वेषिणा केशिहा कंसरिध्वंसिका पातका पूतना कोपका सूरजकेलना बालगोपालका पातु मां सर्वदा विद्युतत्रोज्ज्वल प्रस्फुरद्वाससं प्रागृढं बोधकरोलसद्विग्रहं धन्ययामाल शोभितोरस्थलं लोहितां कृद्वयं पारिजाक्षं भजे कुण्डलं वारकेणोरसौ कङ्कणं प्रोज्वलं मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे अच्युतस्याष्टकं यः पठेदिष्टदं केमतः प्रीत्यहं पूषसस्तहं वन्दतः सुन्दरं वैद्यविश्वम्भरं तस्य वशो हरे जायते सर्वरम्
Shripad Shankaracharya Vichitam. Achyuta Ashtakam. Why your voice is not heard in between? What is happening with your mobile, Jumur?
Network.
It's a big extra good. Ball. Jai ho. Mancha kalpataru Haridanam Ishtavind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Naina Manjari ki jai. Hari bol.